Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to explain you the basic concept of microeconomics. Microeconomics is one of the branch of economics in which we study about the individual economic units. Some contents, some concept, some definitions of this lesson, which is the very first lesson of microeconomics of 11th grade. I'm going to give you the details of each important concept. In a, in a short time, briefly, I'll be explaining you. Let's move to the topic. First of all, I'll tell you what is the meaning of microeconomics. From the name, you can understand. When we say microeconomics, micro means small. It is that branch of economics which deals with the study of individual economic unit, like individual income, individual demand, individual supply, output of an individual firm, price of an individual commodity, how it is determined. So when we say microeconomics, we are studying about individual economic unit. Microeconomics is also known as price theory. The other name of microeconomics is price theory. There is another branch of economics which is known as macroeconomics. When we say macro, it is large, big. That branch of economics which deals with the study of economy as a whole, like national income, about the whole country's income we study here. National income, domestic income, general price level. We are not talking about price level of an individual commodity. General price level, unemployment in the country, poverty ratio in the country or in the state. Other name for macroeconomics is theory of income and employment. And a great contribution of J.M. Keynes is there in this branch of economics, which is known as macroeconomics. That's why J.M. Keynes, who is an English economist, is known as father of modern macroeconomics. Now let us go to another term. What is the meaning of economy? When we say economy, it is a system by which people get their living, or we can define it in a different way. All the producing units which are located in a geographical area or in a domestic area with which provides livelihood to the people. Collectively, it is called an economy. For example, Indian economy, Russian economy, British economy, French economy. So it is normally it can be called a country also, domestic territory also, which provides livelihood to the people for their survival. So that is economy. Next is, what are the basic activities of an economy? Three basic activities are there of an economy: production, consumption, and capital formation. When we say production, it is production of goods as well as services, because that is necessary. People consume it. They need a lot of goods and services. Consumption is another very important activity of economy. Consumption is must. Everyone needs to consume. Consumption is never zero. For survival, we need to consume. So consumption is very important. And for consumption, production is required. And capital formation, which is also known as investment, is another part of or activity of an economy. With the help of capital, only production is possible. Then we will come to another topic called closed economy and open economy. When we use the word closed economy, it is a type of economy where there's no relationship between economic relationship between one country and another country, or we can say that there's no transaction of goods and services between two countries. Then that country which is not keeping any economic relation with the other country is known as closed economy. No relation, no economic relation. If a country is keeping with other country, then it is called closed economy. There is another type of economy which is known as open economy. The country which is having economic relation or transaction with other countries, that is called open economy. In the recent time, most of the economy in the world are open economy because all of the countries are keeping economic relation, economic transaction with other countries. But It is possible that there can be an economy which is keeping its relation closed with other countries. So economy can be a closed economy, it can be open economy also. Now, another concept, factors of production. What do you mean by factors of production? There are four basic factors of production: land, labor, capital, and enterprise. These are the four primary factors of production or basic factors of production. They are also known as primary input. But there are secondary inputs also, like raw material, power, fuel, water, pesticide, and the raw materials. That all are secondary input. I'll tell you one difference is there. Primary input, which is normally called factors of production, remains intact even after production gets over, means they remain as it is. Land will remain as it is, labor will remain as it is, capital like machine will remain as it is, and the entrepreneur will remain as it is. But the secondary input gets merged into the production. But when we say what are the factors of production, or a question is asked, what are the factors of production? We say land, labor, capital, and enterprise. Land means all free gift of nature, which is provided as a resource, is known as land. Labor is human resource. Both skilled and unskilled laborers are there, educated, uneducated, or specialized, unspecialized. Both type of labor are included in labor. Capital means those man-made things which helps in production, like machine, like plant, like tool, like factory equipment, etc. The fourth and the most important is entrepreneurship or enterprise. A person who takes the risk to organize all factors of production and goes for producing a commodity, manufactures a commodity or produces a commodity, that is called entrepreneurship or enterprise. Now, there is a term called economic problem. What do you mean by economic problem? Economic problem is basically the problem of choice is called economic problem. Why there is a problem of choice? There is a problem of choice in an economy because the resources are limited. Limited resources are there. Resources are not unlimited. Human wants are unlimited, but resources are limited and resources have alternative uses. So these are the causes. First thing is that human wants are unlimited. One want is satisfied, then we want another. One after the other, one after the other, the wants are there. Means one desire is satisfied, one demand is satisfied, then other pops up, and one after the other we have to fulfill the desire or the need of the people or of ourselves. So human wants are unlimited. We finish one, we satisfy one, then other we have to satisfy. But resources to fulfill human want is limited. So we have to use the resources very economically, judiciously, so that we can get maximum benefit. Resources have two features. Resources are limited and resources have alternative uses. Means a resource can be either used for one purpose or for solving another purpose. For example, a plot of land is there. It is a resource. Limited plot of land is there. That land can be used either for making a building, housing complex, or that land can be used for making a playground, or that land can be used for making a school, or that land can be used for farming. But all the thing cannot be done together. We have to choose among these alternative option, any one, which one is going to give the maximum satisfaction. So resources are limited and resources have alternative uses. That's why the problem of choice arises. And we have to decide out of these alternative uses, which one is going to give maximum satisfaction. The resource will be utilized for that purpose. So scarcity and choice goes hand in hand. Because of scarcity of resources, we have to choose any one alternative. This is called economic problem. Whenever it is asked what is an economic problem, it is a problem of choice which arises due to human wants are unlimited, resources are limited, and resources have alternative uses. Next topic which we go on is the meaning of economizing the resources. Economizing means best use of resources or optimum use of resources is known as economizing of resources. I just told you that resources have two features or characteristic. Resources are limited and resources have alternative uses. Next come a topic which is called central problem of an economy. There is a difference. We have studied just now about the economic problem. Now I'm dealing with the concept of central problem of an economy. The compulsion of making choice by all the economies is called central problem. There are three basic central problem of an economy: what to produce in what quantity, how to produce, that is the technology of production, how to produce, which method is to be used for production, and for whom to produce. These three are called central problem of an economy: how to produce, what to produce, and for whom to produce. When we say what to produce, whether to produce more of basic good, basic necessity good, or luxury good, more of car or more of wheat, more of butter or more of rice, that the economy has to decide because the resources are limited and resources have alternative use. But this problem can be solved if we use the resources in such a way that the resources gives maximum satisfaction. That commodity is produced which gives maximum aggregate utility or satisfaction to maximum number of people. That is the guiding principle. Next come how to produce. How to produce is the problem of choosing appropriate technology of production. A commodity can be produced with labor intensive method or capital intensive method, large scale or small scale, more of land, less of capital, less of land, more of capital. Alternative ways are there. But the guiding principle, the problem can be solved if the commodity which we are producing, the technology which we are using, the society uses, the economy uses that technology which gives least cost of production. That will be the most beneficial, or that can be problem solution. Third comes for whom to produce. For whom to produce is related to the distribution of income and output which is produced in an economy. The production generates income, and production is a combined effort of factors of production: land, labor, capital, and enterprise. Once production is done, income is generated. That income is to be distributed among the factors of production in the form of rent, wages, interest, and profit. And this rent, wages, interest, and profit is distributed among factors of production on the basis of their contribution in the production process. Who is to be paid how much is again a problem of choice. Private sector solves this problem through price mechanism of demand and supply, which is also known as theory of functional distribution. Here the problem solution or the guiding principle is that all the factors of production should get so much as they should be able to get their minimum basic consumption requirement. Means that much everyone should get, that they are getting the basic requirement, they are able to fulfill their basic requirement. Another topic is there, that is called production possibility curve. What is the meaning of production possibility curve? It is a curve which shows all possible combination of two goods which an economy can produce with full and efficient utilization of resources under given technology. Means with the available resources and full and efficient utilization of resources, and with the best technology, how much an economy can produce and what are the various possible combination on which an economy can produce. We are assuming that an economy, here we are assuming that an economy is producing only two commodity resources are limited, technology is constant, and resources are fully and efficiently utilized. That with the help of that, when we draw, we get PP curve. PP curve is a production possibility curve. It is also known as production possibility frontier. It is always downward sloping from left to right, because if we want to increase production of one good, we have to reduce production of another good. And PP curve is concave to the origin because of increasing marginal opportunity cost or because of MRP. The detail of PP curve we will have in another slide. Thank you very much. Hope you have got the best thing, basic concept you have understood. Thank you very much.